Man, it looks like things are not moving smoothly there at the Economic Freedom Fighters, because today, on Monday, the 2nd of October, we were supposed to see this huge shutdown of Capetown. But it seems like things are moving smoothly there in the Western Cape. And guys, the Economic Freedom Fighters is having a huge meltdown, because the African National Congress and Santaco, they dropped them on the last minute, saying that, okay, Economic Freedom Fighters, if you want to shut down the Western Cape, you can do it, but we are not going to help you do it. You can go out there and do it on your own. You can do it on your own, man. So the EFF is having a huge meltdown over this. They are calling the African National Congress dishonest. They are calling the African National Congress all of these names. I mean, like, duh, welcome to the party, man. South Africans have been saying that the African National Congress is dishonest for such a long time. And you are also dishonest for thinking that the African National Congress was going to join you to shut down Western Cape, whereas Western Cape has the least numbers of the unemployment. Man, it made no sense for the African National Congress to help the EFF to shut down the Western Cape. There's absolutely nothing that the African National Congress was going to gain from helping the EFF to shut down the Western Cape. Man, the African National Congress right now, they've been doing their manifesto reviews, and the stadiums are packed. Everywhere the African National Congress goes, the stadiums are packed. So honestly, they don't need the EFF to march with them in the Western Cape to score cheap political points. They don't need that. The African National Congress still has the support of people in South Africa. So the Economic Freedom Fighters, guys, are having a huge meltdown because they thought that EFF, Santaco, ANC, and Sanco were all in the mix. They were all going to pull together and shut down the Western Cape. And one of the reasons why the EFF wanted to shut down the Western Cape, man, it is one of the most silliest reasons I've ever heard, because they said that they wanted to shut down the Western Cape for the high numbers of unemployment rate. So guys, I want us to look at these unemployment figures in South Africa by provinces, and I want you to see where the Western Cape is staying, and I want you to help me make it sense. I want you guys to help me make it sense, because number one, it has to be number one is Northwest. The Northwest is sitting on 53%. Number two, it's KwaZulu-Natal. KwaZulu-Natal is sitting on 46%. Number 3 and 4, it's Northern Cape and the Eastern Cape. They are sitting on 43%. It's Mpumalanga 49%, Limpopo 47%, Free State it's 44%, Gauteng is 39%, and the Western Cape is 25.3%. The Western Cape has the least number of unemployment in South Africa. So it makes no sense why would the EFF go to the Western Cape to say that they are fighting high numbers of unemployment when the Western Cape literally has the least numbers of unemployment. Honestly, guys, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. And how can you go to the Western Cape to say that you are fighting unemployment, but you want people not to go to work? You are going to the Western Cape and you say that you are shutting down everything. You say that you are shutting down everything. No one is going to go to work, and no one is going to go to school, to varsity. Hustlers are not going to go job hunting. No one, because the EFF said so. So how can you fight unemployment by stopping people from going to work? You cannot fight unemployment by stopping people from going to work. It absolutely makes no sense. It absolutely make no sense. And this is one of the reasons why the ANC has decided to distance themselves from the Economic Freedom Fighters, because they understand that this whole thing is nonsense. You cannot fight unemployment by forcing people to stay at home and not go to work. You cannot fight unemployment by forcing people to stay at home and not to go to work. You cannot fight unemployment by forcing poor people not to go to work. You cannot do that, man. You cannot do that. So it doesn't make sense. So if you are an EFF supporter and you were supporting this, because I know that there are people who are supporting the Economic Freedom Fighters to shut down the Western Cape, and it makes no sense. If you are the EFF supporter, like make this whole thing make sense. Make this whole thing make sense. You can't go to the Western Cape to fight unemployment when the Western Cape has the least numbers of unemployment. You leave Northwest. Northwest is there sitting with 53.5. You don't have a problem with Northwest sitting at 53.5 because Northwest, there's nothing to gain there. But you know that in the Western Cape, man, I always I always compare the Western Cape with Orania, man. These places are easy targets for these guys who simply want to raise bait people into an outrage. These places are easy targets. If you want to enrage South Africans, if you want to gaslight South Africans about anything in this country, man, you just have to point at the Western Cape or Orania. Then you have it. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense, man. Before the EFF saying that we're gonna go there to fight unemployment, how can you fight unemployment in a province that, man, has the least numbers of unemployment? It makes no sense. People are working in Capetown. And the EFF does not have the mandate in Cape Town. I think they have like 3% or something there. They have like 3% in the Western Cape. They don't have the mandate of the people. So they cannot shut down the city without the mandate of the people. So who mandated the EFF to go to the Western Cape to try to shut down the whole province? No one. Because the people of the Western Cape are not even voting for the EFF. The EFF is not even appealing to the people of the Western Cape. So why would these guys go to the Western Cape to try to shut down the Western Cape? I am not surprised that this whole thing is flop, man. It's a flop. I don't care what they say. Because they said that it was a shutdown, but yesterday they were no longer saying it was a shutdown. They were now saying this whole thing is a protest. It is no longer a shutdown. It is now a protest. Man, we live in crazy times in South Africa, man. We live in crazy times. So you're gonna leave the whole of South Africa, man. You know South Africa, man, is governed by the African National Congress, and you're gonna go to one province that is not governed by the ANC. You're gonna leave us with all of these problems. You're gonna leave us with the potholes. You're gonna leave us with a huge number of unemployment rate, and you're gonna go to the Western Cape to try to fight these people for unemployment. What? It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense, man. The EFF supporters really need to do better, man. Guys, you need to do better, man. Just because you are a member of the Economic Freedom Fighters, it doesn't mean that you cannot go against the leadership of the party, man. You guys really need to do better, man. I know that in the EFF, I've been against people saying that the EFF is a cult, because when you say something is a cult, you are literally insulting the members of the Economic Freedom Fighters by insinuating that they cannot think for themselves. But I know in the EFF they have qualified people there. They have doctors, they have teachers and everything. And these people are saying nothing when the leadership are making these decisions. And the guy there in the Western Cape, the provincial chairperson of the EFF in the Western Cape, man, the guy must be fired. I know Julius Malema is on a firing spree right now. I know that people are being fired in the EFF. This guy, he should be fired. Because this guy went on a national television on a national television, and he said that nothing is going to operate in the Western Cape on Monday. He said nothing is going to operate. Santaco is in the mix. Santaco, like, that's what he said. He said nothing is going to operate in the Western Cape. So people started panicking. Even the African National Congress was like, oh, okay, we are not part of this. We can protest, it's fine. But we are not for shutting down the Western Cape. We are not. The Western Cape, man, is doing better than all of these provinces in South Africa economically. Then you want to go to that province and shut it down. Make it make sense, man. Help me make it sense. It doesn't make sense. The guy there on the Western Cape, provincial chairperson of the EFF in the Western Cape, the guy needs to be fired. The guy is the one who messed everything up for the EFF by saying that the Santaco is going to join in the EFF. And yesterday, Santaco exposed them, saying that everything is going to work as normal in Santaco. Santaco does not have problem with people who want to protest. But our members, they will be driving their taxis, their buses and everything. And things will be operating normally in the Western Cape. Yesterday, Santaco did 2 interviews to expose the EFF. They did one interview there in Newsroom Africa, and they did another interview in the ENCA, saying that we are not going to help these guys to shut down the Western Cape. Santaco is not going to help these guys to shut down the Western Cape. But you saw on Friday the smug of the EFF chairperson in the Western Cape. Man, the guy needs to be fired. I'm telling you, man. If you know Julius Malema, man, fire that guy. Fire that guy, because there's absolutely nothing that the EFF was going to gain from this whole thing. There's nothing that the ANC is going to gain from this whole thing. And there's nothing that average South Africans were going to gain from shutting down the Western Cape. You can't shut down the Western Cape for unemployment when the Western Cape has the least numbers of unemployment in South Africa. You cannot do that. You can't do that, man. You can't. So guys, I want to show you a video of the African National Congress and why the African National Congress has distanced themselves from the economic freedom fighters. And after that, guys, I hope that you are going to stick around, because after that I'm going to show you the classic meltdown of the chairperson of the EFF in the Western Cape, when he literally cries on national television because Santaco and the African National Congress has decided to distance themselves from them. Finally, it makes sense to him. Like he finally understood that the EFF will have to do everything by themselves. But if the EFF does everything by themselves, man, they are going to fail. In the Western Cape, the EFF has no mandate. The people in the Western Cape are not voting for the economic freedom fighters. And the ANC, man, the ANC right now is in no position to support any shutdown. We are going to 2024 election. The ANC cannot be on any platform to encourage a shutdown in South Africa right now. These guys are trying to get people to go to work, and there you are, the EFF Mukhus are trying to stop people from going to work and saying that you want to fight for the illegal impoundment of taxes. Man, Santaco already told you guys that is not your fight. It's the fight of Santaco. It's not your fight. It is the fight of Santaco. So the EFF was left with high unemployment reasons, high unemployment rate, racism and crime. So they also expected the ANC to march on those issues: high unemployment rate, racism and crime. Man, the ANC is presiding over South Africa. The ANC is presiding over everything that is happening in South Africa. The ANC is the one that is supposed to solve this issue of high unemployment, racism and crime. And you expected the ANC to march with you when you have these issues on the agenda, man. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. This shutdown was a flop. It was a flop. It was a flop. It's a flop, man. No one is talking about it. People are continuing with their lives as normal. It's a flop.
But I do have the ANC in the Western Cape to explain the reason why they have pulled out of this multi-party demonstration for the 2nd of October. Dadujabu, thank you so much for your time. The issue around your putting out, can you clarify to our viewers why the ANC is not going to be part of this demonstration?
Thank you, Ati, for the opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to greet the viewers. The African National Congress is is not participating into the march tomorrow. We have clarified it quite very well. That in our understanding, the march is supposed to be a multi-party march. In this regard, in your interview this morning, which necessitated us that is we meet with all the partners that are supposed to be part of the march. The march was reported as an EFF march, and then it was reported as a shutdown where commuters must not go to work, and then all sorts of things. Now, those are they are not representing what the African National Congress stands for. We believe in a peaceful march. We believe in a freedom of association, that our people must be allowed, because with regard to the agreement that is, you have it with yourselves, between Santaco and other and what called Western Cape government, it really stipulates that is taxis, the transport is going to be normal tomorrow. Now, at no stage that is was supporting Santaco and then was then saying that is, then there must be a stay away, people must not go to work. Now, on those bases, we felt that is an African National Congress. We cannot associate ourselves with something that is clearly leads us to something that we don't know. We are part of this multi-party planning demonstration. But when one of the partners goes in public and gives a total different, message in public, it calls us to really rethink our participation in the march.
So the representative of the African National Congress is talking about this right here. The guy that did the interview, I think it was on Newsroom, the EFF guy. This is the reason I'm going to try to show you a smaller clip of why the African National Congress has decided to stay away from this whole thing. I'm going to try to show you a clip. No, it was on SABC. It was on SABC. It was on SABC. I remember it was on SABC because he was doing that interview with that white lady. Where's that guy? I'm going to show you guys why the African National Congress has decided to stay away from this whole thing. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you why I said that guy of the Economic Freedom Fighters, man, the chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters in the Western Cape, the guy needs to be fired. The guy needs to be fired, man. He caused the party, because if you really think about it, the ANC and Santaco, they had no problem with marching, because they understand that everyone has a right to march in South Africa. Everyone has a right to march in South Africa, but you don't have a right to shut down. Like shutting down, that's where you step the line, because now you are stopping people from going to work, you are stopping young people from going to school, to universities and colleges, man. You are basically stopping everything. For what? For what? So that Malema can be proud of you, man. Come on. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. So I'm trying to show you the video of why the African National Congress has decided to distance themselves from the Economic Freedom Fighters. And I want you to see the smirk on the guy. I want you to see the smirk on his face when he talks about Unati. I think his name is Unati. But I will find the video, guys. I'm here with you. I hope that you guys stick around, because I'm going to show you a classic meltdown of the Economic Freedom Fighters when they realize that they have to do everything by themselves. I'm going to show you a classic meltdown. So let me let's SABC News EFF. Unati. I think the guy's name is Unati. I think his name is Unati. Yes, I think it's this clip right here. I'm going to show you guys. The EFF, man, they've really messed up on this whole thing. They've really messed up on this thing, man. Like I said, if you really think about it, man, these guys, they had a chance. These guys, they had a chance of actually having support from the ANC and Santaco, but the ANC and Santaco was turned off by the fact that the EFF guy went on a national platform and started saying that this whole thing was going to be a shutdown. Nothing's going to be operating in the Western Cape.
Attending the EFF march, who is going to be serving the people that are going to work? So it's obvious that the Santaco leadership is part of the march, but due to those court processes that they are fighting with the DA on, they have to respect those processes. Otherwise, we're prepared on this thing.
You heard that? The guy is saying that the Santaco is on the mix with this whole thing. He said that Santaco is on the mix.
Who is going to be serving the people that are going to work? So it's obvious that the Santaco leadership is part of the march, but due to those court processes that they are fighting with the DA on, they have to respect those processes. Otherwise, we're prepared on this thing.
And one of the reasons why the Economic Freedom Fight, the African National Congress and Santaco has decided to stay away from this whole march is because this guy went there and said nothing's going to operate in the Western Cape, and that was not the plan from the beginning. That was not the plan. They were planning to protest, not to shut down the Capetown. They were planning to protest and not to shut down the Western Cape.
Quickly, as I let you go, will you reconsider joining this demonstration, particularly tomorrow? Because in the press briefing, the EFF clarified that it is no longer calling it a shutdown, but a demonstration.
It's not the first time that we have clarified that it's a peaceful march. And we have said that the damage this statement that has actually created is really difficult to remedy it now. It calls for us to move back and go and assess ourselves and see how we engage further with the EFF and see. No, this is not the one and the last activity that we think it will take place during the course, but we cannot, in this kind of messaging that have gone out, participate in this march.
Thank you so much for your time, Jabu Mfusi, the PEC member of the ANC in the Western Cape. I'm going to quickly bring in some few other stakeholders. Unati.
This is the guy who said that nothing was going to operate in the Western Cape. Look at his face. when he realized that the EFF has to do this thing by themselves. Man, this guy cost the EFF for one of the greatest moments in the Western Cape, because the EFF had managed to get Santaco on the team. The EFF has managed to get the African National Congress on the team, and this fool right here went on a national platform and said that they're going to shut down the whole of Western Cape, and all the partners there of the EFF, they distance themselves from the EFF. All the partners, they have decided to distance themselves from the EFF because of this guy.
Ntame, the chairperson of the EFF in the Western Cape, it is at the back of your statements on Newsroom calling it a shutdown that the ANC is saying that they're now pulling out. What is your reaction?
No, they are effectively pulling out because we said it's an EFF march. The reason we say it's an EFF march, it's the EFF that applied at the city of Capetown to demonstrate to Ntame. We have never hidden that we want to support the taxi associations against impoundments. So they are sensitive. We don't think they are being honest.
I mean, like, you want to support the taxis against the illegal impoundment. Where were you when Santaco was fighting with the city of Cape Town? Where were you? Where were you? Where was EFF when Santaco was fighting with the city of Cape Town? They were nowhere to be found. But you have this guy here saying that the EFF wants to help Santaco to fight this whole thing with the city of Cape Town. Means the Santaco and the city of Cape Town, they are already working on their deal on the side. They don't need you to come there and fuck up everything else.
As to with the reasons that they are giving to you, surely they have received instructions to pull out. That's what now they are looking for, any type of a reason to justify this instruction that they were given. They are not being honest.
So Santaco, so basically the guy is saying that Santaco and the African National Congress were instructed by someone. Santaco and the African National Congress were instructed by someone to stay not to join the EFF on the shutdown anymore. He doesn't want to accept the fact that him going on a national platform and saying that they are going to shut down Cape Town, nothing's going to operate in Cape Town. It is the reason why ANC and Santaco have said we are no longer taking part in this thing. He doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that saying that Cape Town, nothing is going to operate in Cape Town. We are shutting everything. No one is going to work. No one is going to school. No one is going to tertiary. No one is going to universities. If you are if you are hunting for a job, you are not going to go on a job hunting. No one is doing anything. That is his own statement that made the EFF and Santaco to distance themselves from them. His own statement. And he says that, yeah, it is a EFF shutdown because the EFF is the one that applied for the march. Man, what's wrong with the EFF and the ANC and this thing of saying, I came up with this, I said this first, you didn't say this, I came up with this thing first. Man, this is not the first. You remember last time where we witnessed the renaming of William Nicol to Winima Dikizala Drive. You saw the ANC and the EFF fighting about this thing. The ANC saying that it is our policy to change this thing, and the EFF said we are the ones who came up with the idea first. So these guys are always fighting about these petty things. Now they are fighting about who applied for a march. They said that it is a multi-party protest, but now these guys are calling it an EFF march because they are the ones who applied for the march. Man, the EFF needs to do better, man. The EFF needs to do better, man. You cannot do like this, man. You need to do better as the economic freedom fighters. You need to do better, man. This guy was only supposed to say, okay, guys, even if the EFF, the ANC, and Santaco were planning to shut down the Western Cape, he was not supposed to say it on a national platform, because now you make everyone panic. He was not supposed to say it on a national platform. He was not supposed to say it. This guy should have went there on a national platform and said that the EFF, Santaco, Sanko, and the ANC will be together in a march in the Western Cape against the illegal impounding of taxis, against racism, high unemployment rate, and crime. That is the only thing that he was supposed to say. But he said that nothing is going to operate in the Western Cape. This is the reason why everyone panicked. It's his own fault that the ANC and Santaco are no longer joining the EFF on this whole shenanigan. It's his own fault. Now the EFF like, guys, please, guys, what's happening there? Because I've tried to search, man. I've tried to search. I even went on X, formerly known as Twitter, to try to see what's really happening there. But nothing is happening in the Western Cape. I've been searching ever since I woke up. I've been searching, trying to find out what's really happening in the Western Cape. This guy is like, it's your fault. It's your fault. Right now, the EFF, like the DA, is going to have a field day with this. The DA is going to have a field day with this. John Stenisenman is about to have a field day with this flop of a shutdown from the economic freedom fighters. It is a flop of a shutdown.
Because it has never been political parties. It has always been the unjust impoundments that are happening. It has always been a system.
Stop talking about the impoundment of taxes, man. Santaco have already told you guys, this is not your fight. This is not your fight. It is not your fight, man. You cannot fight with us. It is not your fight. You were not there when we were clashing with the city of Capetown. You were not there. Now we have a smaller deal with the city of Capetown with the help of the ANC, because Santaco was working with the ANC. And right now the transport is moving smoothly there in the Western Cape. But you have this guy coming here on the 2nd of October 2023 saying that he wants to fight the city of Capetown for the illegal impoundment of taxis.
Systematic victimization of the taxi industry, and it has always been a systematic seeking of dissolving the taxi industry and replacing it with My City and Golden Arrow. So it has never been the ANC vis-a-vis EFF. No. By the way, the EFF is very much ready for tomorrow. The EFF is going to stage its protest.
Of course you're gonna say that, man. Of course you're gonna say that to save face. But the honest truth is that in the Western Cape you don't have the mandate. You don't even have the mandate of the people. You don't have the mandate to do nothing in the Western Cape.
We're going ahead with whoever is still with us. We're going ahead. Our people are ready, by the way, because it's not only the people of the EFF that will be there. We know that the comrades of Santo are here and they want to be part of the march, and they said that they are still resolute in that approach. So we do not mind. It is just unfortunate that everything that the ANC has been telling us is coming to pass now, because people said we shouldn't trust them.
Well, duh. Duh. Guys, the only reason I'm happy is that, man, like, I'm happy that Capetown is not going to be shut down. Man, these people in the Western Cape, they were dealing with the floods, and not so long ago they were dealing with the floods. And you have these guys here trying to shut down the whole province because they say they are fighting high unemployment rate when the Western Cape literally has the least numbers of unemployment in South Africa. So guys, please tell me what are your thoughts. Please tell me what is really happening there in the Western Cape right now, because I understand that the EFF is really having a hard time there in the Western Cape. Guys, please tell me what are your thoughts on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.